I'm an athlete that happens to be an artist, is what they say. But for me, I'm an artist that happens to be an athlete.
Desmond Mason was born and raised in Waxahachie, Texas. In his early childhood, he lived in a small farmhouse with his parents and grandparents. In the aliveness of the countryside, Desmond was free to explore nature and exercise his imagination.
Just kind of growing up in the country. What I remember most is stepping outside and seeing a gravel driveway, and the mailbox was across the street, and there was no houses within a mile on either side of us, just a bunch of fields. Running around as a young kid, just on my own, no other siblings, and no other friends around at the time. More than anything, I was just able to explore without having to be a follower, without having to be a leader. I was just kind of learning and doing my thing, and my parents let me go and they let me loose. So it was more than anything, it was a good feeling. It was freedom.
The Mason family moved to a poor, crime-ridden neighborhood on the east side of Waxahachie, where Desmond was forced to grow up fast. The closeness of his family, his love of sports and art, provided a much-needed refuge.
So there was a lot going on, a lot I had to deal with on a daily basis. Being the oldest, I had a brother that was 4 years younger than me, a sister that was 2, and I was a big kid at a young age. My dad was in prison at the time, so I was essentially the man of the house, I did a lot of drawing. My mom would cover my books in old grocery bags, flip them over so there was no writing, so I could draw on them as opposed to drawing inside of the books. And I drew on my desk. I got a lot of trouble for that. But I stayed away from my walls at home and the walls in school. I didn't tag anything. But I did do a lot of doodling on pads in my books and on my desk. So that was the damage I did. The moment things turned around for me would have been about my sophomore year in high school. My dad got out of prison. He kind of took us away from a bad neighborhood and a bad situation, and really enforced some heavy rules as it pertains to grades and the way we were going to live and the things that we were going to do on a regular basis.
Desmond's athletic talents and hard work were rewarded. In high school, he became a basketball star and was recruited by 96 Division I schools. In college, he played under legendary OSU coach Eddie Sutton and was featured in Sports Illustrated. Desmond majored in studio art, studied art history, and advanced his painting skills. The color and intensity of his abstract expressionist style reflects the influence of his artistic idols, including Monet, Picasso, Manet, Kandinsky, Pollock, and Rothko. A first-round selection by Seattle in the 2000 NBA draft, Desmond won the NBA Slam Dunk competition in 2001 and went on to play for Milwaukee, New Orleans, Oklahoma City, and Sacramento.
Painting was always my emotional release, and the amount of stress that I picked up in a 5-month span was unbelievable. So I would take my pads, my pencils, my charcoals on the road, and I would just sit in my hotel room and draw and paint. I remember missing the first 4 years of my daughter's life from traveling and playing, and this song kept playing over and over and over called Moving Forward. And I was already on the fence with retiring from basketball, but at that moment, I knew that it was time for me to move to the next chapter of my life.
Desmond has sold hundreds of original paintings to collectors all over the world. Well known for his philanthropy, he founded the annual Desmond Mason Art Show in 2004, which to date has raised over $1 million. The beneficiaries of his art shows and events include Boys and Girls Clubs, Susan G. Komen for the Cure, Whitefield's Home for Boys, the NFL Players Association Scholarship Fund, Allied Arts, and the Oklahoma City National Memorial.
Did charity things in college. I did them when I was young in high school. So giving back to my community was definitely a big part of my life, and this was just a way to do it in a creative way and enjoy that process. Again, it's very gratifying because I've been there before. I know what it's like to not have food on the table in the evening. I know what it's like to not have clothes, to wear the same socks, wear the same shoes to school. Those are tough feelings, and I really focus on kids. I have kids, and I've been there as a kid, and it's hard to deal with those things getting talked about because you wear the same clothes every day. I just really want to give these kids an opportunity to better themselves and put them in situations that will be successful going forward for them.
The love for his wife, Andrea, and their children, Jada and Elijah, provides a daily source of inspiration.
1, 2, 3, 4.
My abstract work is pure emotion. It's what's going on in my body, it's what's going on in my brain, it's what's going on in my life on a day-to-day basis. It's my kids, it's my family, it's my friends. I love it. I love expressing myself that way. Every piece is part of me to some extent. There's definitely some fluidity in my work. There's some things that go together. It's not just all over the place. There's a little bit of structure behind it, but it's still very emotional. The process is hard to explain because it happens emotionally. It's not something that I map out the day before. It's just I walk in, the canvas is blank, and I go to work.
It overtakes me, it overtakes me, it overtakes me. Oh, it overtakes me, it wakes and bakes me, it overtakes me.
It's all about being loose. It's all about, real life forms as opposed to these model style forms. It's about being fun and enjoying it. It's a whole other ballgame within itself. I really, really enjoy doing figurative work. The painting, The Protectors, I did in 2010, it was extremely emotional for me. It was very family driven. And The Protectors, that piece had a woman centered in the forefront and two people in the background. And in my mind, the person to her left was me, and the person to her right, which was further back, was spiritual being for us as God. And we were protecting my mom because she was the one that protected us growing up and raised us in a single parent home. So that was one of the biggest emotional pieces I think I've ever done. traveling and learning and experiencing different cultures impacts me in a lot of ways, but from an artistic standpoint, it really opens my mind up to what's going on outside of my little bubble. You know, here, it's, the colors are different, the architecture is different, the vibe is different. So I love being able to bring those things back and experimenting with them on canvas. That's what it's all about, is opening your mind up to things that are different. And as an artist, that's the only way that you evolve.
The technology of the modern giclée process enables image capture and reproduction to the highest resolution and the finest color distinctions. Desmond carefully reviews each print to assure authentic representation of the original.
The feeling I get from my first collection of limited edition prints, it kind of makes me feel like I've arrived a little bit. You know, for me, it was like signing my first Upper Deck basketball card. You know, it was, okay, I've arrived now, it's official. And for me, that's what it feels like. You know, this is a big step in my art career. And, you know, I'm here. Feel good. I'm an artist and an ex-basketball player.
Two scientists are racing for the good of all mankind. Both of them side by side.